Robin, let's start first off with your perspective. You heard what Larry Culp just said from GE earlier today. We heard from Dave Calhoun from Boeing. They both believe that it's going to take some time, but eventually the industry comes back. But that's a long-term perspective. Give us what you're seeing, let's say, over the next 6 months to 9 months.
Hi, Phil. Great to be back on the program. Look, we all agree that we'll see a recovery at some point. You know, I think people instinctively want to travel. There's a lot of pent-up demand for travel. Lots of friends and families they put off seeing. The question is, how do we bridge to that point? And so what we're focused on at JetBlue is, first of all, just making sure people know we're doing everything we can to keep flying safe and make it as safe as anything you'll do in your daily life. And two, focusing on our cash burn. You know, we came into this with a really strong balance sheet, and by conserving cash, it means that as we pivot out of this, as we come out of this, we'll be ready to do well and take advantage of the opportunities that will present themselves.
Robin, there is growing chatter in D.C. of a second CARES Act being passed, another round of aid specifically for you and other U.S. carriers. What's your sense on the likelihood of that passing?
Well, I mean, that's a hard call to make. You know, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if anyone really knows the answer to that. I will say, though, that a day of reckoning has to come. I mean, we were also fortunate with the first CARES Act. It really protected the industry. It protected hundreds of thousands of jobs in the industry. But as you just showed before the segment started, and as we're seeing, we are seeing in the U.S. volumes at 25 to 30% of what we would expect. We are close to the end of July. So, we're going to still, as we get to the end of the first CARES Act period through to September, we're still going to be at a fraction of our normal levels. And so airlines are going to have to reset. It has the potential to cause a significant amount of job losses in the industry, and an extension of the CARES Act for the industry would prevent that, and I believe protect a significant number of jobs.
Having said that, and I've talked with people who have said you are one industry that was specifically targeted in that first CARES Act, and understandably for a good reason, because tens of thousands of jobs were saved. And people are saying, now, wait a second, should the airlines get a second round when there are a lot of other industries that were not specifically targeted?
No, look, I appreciate that, and I recognize that. And again, as I said just a minute ago, we were extremely fortunate as an industry. But so much, the airlines are really the tool that will help us recover. There's no tourism without airlines. The whole travel industry really is built on the back of the aviation system. The economy, so much of our GDP is directly or indirectly tied to aviation. And so the multiplier effect that you get if you can keep the aviation industry intact, I think will help us bounce out of this much more quickly. That was the argument back in when CARES 1 was put in place, and that is the argument I think that still holds for CARES 2.
To that point, Robin, in terms of bouncing back out of this much more quickly, you and a lot of your peers are experiencing, a shrinkage of your airline in the middle of this crisis. How quickly can you scale back up to meet demand, in the event, hopefully there is a solution to this pandemic?
Mm-hmm. Well, what you have to be in an environment like this is extremely nimble and flexible. Things will improve quickly, and we did see that. I go back to June, we were looking at 20 to 30% improvements week on week in bookings, and then things will turn the other way. This is a non-linear recovery. Sometimes it feels like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Sometimes it feels like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And so what we're doing at JetBlue is making sure that we can adjust our capacity upwards when we see demand, but also reduce it and take it out of our system when we don't. We've had fabulous support from our crew members. Over 60% of our crew members have taken some form of time off over the summer. And it's really about kind of getting everything lined up so we can increase capacity when we see demand and reduce it when we don't. But all the time remembering our number one priority right now is to reduce our cash burn.